What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Real Ones Only, where we break down classic movies, legendary moments, and deeper meanings behind the films that shape the culture. Whew, that was a lot.
Yeah, that was a lot. That's all right, man. And today it's gonna be a lot, but that's all right. Because today we're gonna be talking about one of the most powerful school movies ever made. Not just, and it wasn't entertainment, leadership, discipline, community. Man, we talking about what, Ken?
Lean on me.
Lean on me.
Lean on me. What that lady say? If you need a friend.
Some Humps and downs. Lean on me, baby. That's what we're talking about
Lean
today.
on me. Legendary Morgan Freeman as Joe
Yes.
Clark,
The one who
man.
doesn't age.
Man, at all. It's got the same voice, but sleeps on movie theaters. I mean,
Yeah.
sleeps on interviews. My bad. Sleeps on interviews.
You'll be all right. Lean on me, baby.
Yeah, man. This movie had everybody, a crazed principal carrying a bat, donning the name Crazy Joe. It's so crazy, man. Like I said, we just watching this movie as we grew up, and we were like, oh my gosh, like, is school really gonna be like this for us? We growing
Yes.
up, you know what
It
I'm
always,
saying?
and look, me and Ken grew up in Charleston. Lean on me always reminded me of Rivers Middle School. If you know, you know. With the Rivers Middle
Correct,
School, it just
correct,
reminded me of that. But
right.
it
But
wasn't
Joe,
as bad.
remember we was talking earlier today. When I told you about we was going to do the movie, and we were talking about like the influences of the movie. You said C.E. Williams reminded you.
For those who know, if you grew up in Charleston and went to C.E. Williams, lean on me with C.E. Williams, man. It was so bad, Joe Clark probably put the chains on so he wouldn't come in the school. That's how bad it is. But anyway,
Right. So first, Lean on Me dropped in 1989. It was directed by John G. Alvinson.
yes. Same dude who did Rocky and
Mm,
Karate Kid. So it's a very
man.
motivating, very underdog, making it to the top kind of movie.
Right, right. And so once again, this movie was very stacked with the cast. So you basically had, Morgan Freeman as Joe Clark, Crazy Joe, or Batman, what they
They call
called
me
him at
Batman.
one point. Beverly Todd as Miss
Levias.
Leviathan,
Mm-hmm.
Miss Levias.
Mr. Levias.
Then we had Robert Gilliam as Dr. Frank
Napier.
Napier. And then
Yes.
you had Lynn Thigpen as Leona Barrett.
Miss Barrett.
Uh, yes, Michael Beach as Mr. Darnell,
Darnell.
and Alan North as Mayor Don Boatman.
Mr. Darnell, Terry's husband.
Yep. Oh
And so,
gosh.
yeah, honestly, Morgan Freeman made this movie,
Mhm.
who played by Joe Clark. And, if you see a side by side, I mean, Joe Clark, I mean, Morgan Freeman looks like the real Joe Clark. It's crazy, Ken. If you ever saw a real Joe Clark, I'm like, yo, that look like Morgan Freeman's son, man. Like,
And so funny thinking about it now. I remember my mom used to have them Jet magazines, and when Jet came out with the movie, they had put them side by side, like he was like on the school
yes,
step, and then Joe Clark was at the bottom. Yeah,
yes,
man. Yeah. Most definitely.
yes. It's a true story.
Oh gosh,
It's
it's
a
a true
true
story. It's
story.
not.
Yes.
It's a true story. So let's break this down, right? So the movie starts off with, you know, you see Joe Clark in the '70s, um, you know, teaching his class. That's
Hmm.
how it basically starts off. You see them having a good time in class. They're actually doing like a debate or some type of contest, like almost like
Yeah.
Jeopardy in a way,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So basically, that's how it started off. And then all of a sudden, one of the other teachers came in and he was like, "Hey, man, they having a meeting without you."
It was
He's like, "What the heck
Napier.
you talking about?" Yeah.
It was Frank Napier.
Well,
Yep.
what's going on? What you talking about? So he goes down to the meeting and he's like, "Man, like, what are y'all doing? We almost got them what we want them." And come to find out the what's going on is that the teachers are asking for more money.
Mm-hmm.
They're asking like, "Hey, man, right now we don't have the funds to feed or take care of our families."
Mm-hmm.
And Joe was on the thing of, "Hey, man, as long as we stick together, we'll get what we want from them, also including raises as well." He kept saying, "If we let the state get this school, it's going to go downhill." He kept saying it, but the people had already voted, and they basically voted against what they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
although they did have some altercations during the meeting at that time, like Joe Clark bending over and telling the man kisses behind and stuff like that. Said, but
Get on the table.
it's standing on the table now, but it just shows that he was very passionate
Yes.
about the school, about the kids, and also about the teachers because he had, colleagues that were actually sticking up for him and wanting things to change, for the better. And they had a union, but the union probably wasn't working in their favor. So that was
Mm-hmm.
another thing too. But yeah, man, that's the breakdown. And after they
And
voted, he said, gave the man a dollar, put the dollar on the man's head, and said,
pay you.
"Pay your bills."
And let me say this. You know what and I realized something when I watched the movie, Ken,
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't see before. It created a skepticism but when it comes to commitment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when Joe Clark becomes principal, he's skeptical of the teachers because he probably doesn't believe they're ready to deal with hard commitment.
Now that you say that, you are so right. Because looking back in the beginning, he had that help, and then he felt like the teacher betrayed him, and he was
Mm-hmm.
like, "All right, y'all can have it." And that's when he walked out and left. And then
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden, it was just like a dramatic change. They were like, "Come on, man, don't
Yeah,
leave,
it
don't leave,
created
don't
something.
leave." And
Yeah,
all of a sudden, you just see the school. It was like almost like
it fade.
apocalyptic. Yeah,
Yes,
it's
it
not.
fade
You know
from a
what I'm
nice
saying?
school
A night school
to,
just fade
yeah,
into like just
yeah.
bad. It felt like the end of times because
It's
the
like
way
an apocalyptic thing. Yeah, like
apocalyptic way.
and so yeah, it just and so it creates this anger or frustration within himself
Mhm.
towards faculty and staff.
Correct.
So it is the risk. So what we realize about Joe Clark is that he's very big on education,
Mhm.
commitment, uh uh, uh
Discipline.
discipline, right?
Mhm.
And so you're allowing this, what you're telling the state, what you're telling them is that, hey, you are about to give up what education is and what it means
Mhm.
to be paid more,
Correct.
right? And don't get me wrong, and my wife, I've been a teacher for years. She's taught every kind of student, rich, poor. She even taught Asian students online, right?
Mhm.
And so she'll tell you that money has always been an issue when it comes to teaching students, depending on where you are, right?
Uh-huh.
So we can understand that struggle, but as we're going to explore, it was bigger than just the school. It begins to affect the community and affect things politically. So yeah.
Mhm. And since you mentioned that, like you said, your father was a teacher as well.
He was
My
a band
mother
teacher.
was a teacher. Right.
Mhm.
My mother was a teacher as well.
My aunt was a
And
teacher. Hmm.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? And we were talking about it today too. One of our, I won't call it, it is a historical black school in Charleston, South Carolina, which is Burke High School.
Yeah, Burke High School.
And
That's my
Burke
aunt
High
taught.
School.
Yep, Mr.
And
McLeod.
then
Remember the band teacher? Yep.
Mr. McLeod. Yeah, correct. And it's like, it's crazy because even for us, we went to Mount Zion. Majority of the members there were either teachers and stuff like that. So you saw them
Or
being
principals, like Miss
or
Frazier.
like Miss Frazier being a principal. God
Yes.
bless the dead, Miss Frazier.
Yes.
So it's just the fact that we had a lot of teachers in our
Yes.
church community, and they saw what was going on. They had to deal with it, but they were part of a greater community, and they were
Yes.
able to still, push that education
Yeah, they were
towards the
educators.
students. They
I
was they
mean,
were
big
very
time.
they were very passionate educators,
Yes. Yes.
and that's why I bought when it came down to it. So we had educators in our family, we had educators in the church, so it was there.
Hmm.
It was there. It's just the fact that at that time,
At that
uh,
time. Yep.
you know,
Hmm.
the state was trying to take over that school, take over the school. All right, so let's talk about Joe Clark a little bit, right?
Okay.
So this, like we said before, Joe Clark is a real person.
Yeah.
Um, it's no faking. He's a real person, and a lot of people feel like when they saw the movie growing up, they was like, "Oh, this is just not real," But it was he's a real principal of Eastside High in
Mhm.
Patterson, New Jersey. So it was no. This movie was for real. You
Mhm.
know, he, Go ahead.
And I mentioned this to you before, Ken, and my mentor, who I knew when I lived in Tennessee, he
Mm-hmm.
lived in Jersey and he worked with Joe Clark. And said my mentor was tough, right? But he was like Joe Clark, Nah, he worked with him personally, right? And he said Joe Clark was hard and very condescending. And he would speak to people with the bullhorn in their face. Like he would get in their faces, but he was very hard when it comes to education. And to my mentor's, credit, he said, "Hey, look, Joe Clark turned that school around now."
Okay.
He remembered that.
Mm-hmm.
But he was tough. That was Joe Clark. And I'm not talking about Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman is an actor. The real Joe Clark was really tough.
Gotcha. Oh man, so we don't like
This
this. All right.
is
So
good.
that's crazy. Like he would actually put the bullhorn in their face and be
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
"I'm talking to you." Like, you know what
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
he he was Samuel L. Jackson before Samuel L.
Yeah,
Jackson.
he was. Yes, yes. Oh, yeah, man.
Uh, so
But he was but his love for students and education
mhm,
was there, though he was very unorthodox in how he did things. His goal was there, but everybody can't put up with you, Joe Clark. You know what I mean? Everybody can't
correct,
do it, right?
correct, correct. So we was talking about this earlier today too, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were um,
Mm-hmm.
like for example, we talked about how the guy was like, "Man, I have to fend for my family,"
Yeah,
right?
we were talking about that.
We were
Yep.
talking about that, and you asked me the question of, "Do I get the pay raise, or do I stick it out and then wait for my
Mm.
reward?" Like, say
Mm-hmm.
you stick it out and
Mm-hmm.
basically get your reward later. You don't know when it's gonna come, but you know you're gonna get it.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember we were talking about it. I said that I wouldn't have taken the money just because I know what would have happened because of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And someone is telling you, like, "Hey, man, if we do this, the state's going to take it over. Yeah, y'all might get a raise, but look what's going to happen. Y'all are not going to be top priority anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all gonna get funding, yes, but y'all not gonna be top priority when it comes down to the community making decisions for the
You give
school.
up your
Everything's
voice.
gonna be run with an iron fist by the state.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the thing we were talking about. And I always wanted to get your take. I know I had to go back to work, but I wanted to get
Yeah.
your take on that.
I mean, they gave up their voice in a way, right?
Mm-hmm.
They gave up their voice by allowing the state to do whatever, by giving them more money, but they now lose their voice,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you got like you said, it was the late 70s. I think it was like 67, 68, around that time. So you got civil rights movement, you have crack cocaine, all these things that we even mentioned
Mm-hmm.
in Juice, right? All of
Right.
that was in New Jersey too. So it was not a good neighborhood at first because if you look at the movie, he was teaching white students. So at
Right.
that time, where they were, it was most likely a white neighborhood.
And gentrification has not happened yet.
Gentrification happened, and civil rights movement hadn't
Mm-hmm.
happened. I believe Martin Luther King. When did Martin Luther King was shot? I'm trying to remember. Was it 65?
Something like that. I want to
65.
say.
I believe it was. I correct me if I'm wrong, my people. But it was the late 60s. And so you had riots, crack cocaine, all this stuff began to mess up the inner city area where they were. And so whites move out, blacks move in. And then you have these teachers who lost their voice, right?
Mhm.
So that they got more money, but then the mayor comes in, he doesn't fund the school like he was supposed to, He balances budget and he takes money away from certain schools. And so what you're left with is African Americans, and what you're left with is Latinos and poor whites coming together at East Side High in one
Mhm.
area. So
Area.
it's nothing but a cesspool. And when you have poverty and depression, hopelessness, and unfair pay, joblessness, you create a gumbo. I want to use that term, a gumbo of crack cocaine,
Uh-huh.
drugs, abuse,
Mhm.
fights, hopelessness within one school. The school was a pot of gumbo for all this crap.
What they say, it was a melting pot. Yes, a melting
It
pot.
was a melt,
A
right?
melting pot.
A melting pot of toxic poison soup that was destroying the school.
Yes.
So that
All
was
right.
left with that thing, man. You
So
know,
let's just
so yeah, go ahead.
so since we're talking about like,
All right.
the state, let's talk about the pros and cons of the state taking over, right?
Okay.
So pro, more funding,
Mm-hmm.
better oversight,
Mm-hmm.
more accountability,
Mm-hmm.
and then education reform.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we don't know what took place after Joe Clark left.
Yeah,
All
we
we
don't.
know is the fact that the state took over, and then from whatever period was, they still were probably doing well after teachers got paid, but then the cutbacks may have started to come.
Mm-hmm.
So you see the cutbacks,
Crime began to plague the community.
correct. So now
Mm-hmm.
this is now East Side High is struggling now. Then you have the cons. So the downside of this is the community loses control. Like you said,
Yeah.
community loses control, it loses their voice. The
Yes.
second thing is outsiders are making decisions. And what do you mean by outsiders? They're talking about people like that's coming in from the state that probably don't even live in this
Political. Yeah. Don't
community,
know. Mm-hmm.
don't know what's going on, and
Mm-hmm.
now they're coming in and saying, "Oh, them kids don't need that. Them kids don't need no computers. They don't need this new textbook. We'll give them this 2-year-old textbook and let them go from there." And that's probably why they weren't even passing the damn test.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so okay. So you got a couple of things here, right?
Mm-hmm.
If And this is where it becomes hard because we got to look at the truth. The truth is this. If I give this school in this neighborhood money, what will they do? Probably tear it apart, right? Okay, let me give a good example. In Baltimore, a lot of people came through and that didn't listen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So one dude came in and said, "We're gonna build a community center." And they did. Computers, I mean, they gave a lot of money. Computers, books. It was like state of the art,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it was opened up. We didn't even know it was there. But we were invited, communities were there to talk, decide. Ken, within that week that it was open, the next week, somebody opened the back door, came in and stole all the computers and destroyed everything.
Man,
You
Joe,
know what that
stop.
organization did? They left and never came back. Now, why would that happen? Because you're putting the cart before the horse, right? If you just throw money at it, it's not going to work. The issue is the underbelly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have people like Joe Clark, Miss Levias, people who are actually trying to deal with the underbelly by talking to their parents. And we're going to get there later, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
But it takes that, right? So if the state can throw money at it, all they want is not going to fix the student. It would just it would just put a band-aid on it.
Put
It's
a
not
band-aid.
doing anything. So you're right. So the con is that the students could get, because I'm sure the teachers were paid,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm sure they went home to where they lived, but it didn't change anything, Ken. Right? And Joe Clark was like, it has to change, and you have to kind of start at the bottom,
Correct.
if that makes sense. Anyway.
No, I like that. I like that. I like that. I
Hmm.
like that. So now we let's talk about this.
Okay.
So we finally see that he finally comes back. But let me go back a little bit more.
Okay.
So we see that he's fighting. He is really fighting so hard
Hmm.
for this to basically be done. Because, like I said, during that time, he was like, man, we got to fight. We got to fight. We got to fight. And we see now that we're discussing it, we see why he's fighting so hard because it's like he already know what the outcome is going to be.
You mean when he goes back to the school?
Correct. It's like
Okay.
he so like let's say for example,
Okay.
when he was in the 60s and 70s, he was fighting hard for that reason.
Okay.
Now, like you said, the people turned his back, they turned their back on him, they wanted more money. And it's like now, as he's coming back, he sees what the school has went to or has
Okay.
turned into.
Well, here's the thing, right? Frank Napier wanted Joe Clark to come at the East Side High. Remember, he was a principal
Right.
at another school in
Mm-hmm.
a neighborhood, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so he called him. See, what I love about Frank Napier is Frank knows Joe. I've known you for 20 something years. I know you.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, hey man, this is the chance to turn this school around. And Joe Clark was like, no, the mayor wants to help himself. And Frank called him out on it. You know what? They about to fight. They got into an argument in the middle of the, you know, and Frank was like, with all your talk, all your crap, it's time for you to stop doing this and actually do the work.
You do the work. Yep.
All your Joe Frank routine, all your Joe Frank, excuse me, all your Joe Clark routine shows for what? What? You just a big loud person. Show it that you can actually do it.
Can actually do it. But I think when he walked into the building and he saw what the building
I
was,
don't think he expected that to be that bad.
no, I wouldn't even expect that. Let's
Yeah.
that's like me coming back to Middleton and it looked like East Side High. I'm like, what in the world
Well,
happened here?
let's talk about that scene, right? I, let's talk about the scene when they showed, okay, Ken, okay, I just want to, let's talk about that scene when the school is nice and it fades to graffiti ridden bad school.
Mhm.
Let's talk about all that crap that was going on there. It
Oh
was,
my
so
God.
my thing is this, was it really that bad? I mean, like, it was like the song was like welcome to the jungle, like we won't be able to play it fun and games. It was like it was a jungle, like people throwing toilets out the bathroom, teachers selling drugs to the students, a girl, they ripped her clothes off. uh
Then you know what? You know how people do now, man. And that was us doing that to the girl.
Yeah, it was like, and there was a scene where a dude had a loaded gun. There, what's his name? Sims, the young man
Mhm.
who we're gonna learn about, is doing drugs. And again, in the middle of it all, you had good students
Yes.
trying their best, right? Just
Mhm.
students. And so it was just chaotic, crazy,
Man,
man.
that thing remind me of the movie Cyborg with John Claude Van Damme. And when they got out the area and John Claude Van Damme had to help the android get out, it reminded me so much of that section. And I was like,
Easy.
oh my gosh,
Yes.
it's like just bad,
It was that
bad.
80s gritty, that 80s gritty inner city hood type feel.
And then you see I don't know if that's the principal or the teacher. You see them
It was the
trying to break
principal,
up
I
the
think.
fight,
Yeah.
and he gets his head bashed against
Yeah.
the floor. And all you see is a, ugh, ugh, ugh.
Yeah. They beat up
It's
the
like
principal. Yes.
it's crazy,
Yes.
right? Like you said, it's got to the point that it's that bad, and then all of a sudden,
That bad.
like we talked about earlier today, you see Sam's
Yeah.
getting thrown in the locker,
Yes. That
and then the two
scene.
girls, Charmaine and
Yeah.
things like, "We gonna help you, man. Somebody
Get
help!
help.
Somebody help!
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
help!" And like you said, that does represent
Symbolism,
something.
man.
It's a symbolism because it just represents that nobody was there to help.
Yeah. And these students are trapped saying, help. Somebody help, please. And the camera just backs away from it.
Backs away.
Like,
Somebody help! Somebody help!
okay, I know what they're trying to say. like these students really want help, man.
And then it finally takes Crazy Joe
Yes.
to come. Now, like you said,
Yes.
it's so crazy to see him, right? So he's coming in, and you hear the faint song coming in. East Side High.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like he sees it, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe the school looks like this. The
Yes.
school looks so bad, doesn't make any sense. So we finally get to see Joe Clark. And it's so crazy. I don't know if this was symbolism or not, but he comes in an all white suit.
Yeah, he does. I never thought about that.
Was
It's
that
true.
supposed to mean? Was he? Because remember, he was like, he's gonna be my guardian angel. So was he trying to? What,
That could
what,
be symbolism of it. That's true.
so was he trying to reference himself as being God in a way?
No,
Tucking into an
it's
all
sort of
white
the
suit.
light in a way, right?
Okay, the light.
You mean the part where he's in front of the teachers?
Correct. And he's in the all white suit or
Yes.
cream or whatever it is. And then he's like Tony Todd, is gonna be my my guardian angel. You know what I'm saying?
Dean of Security, Mr. William Wright. He will be my avenging angel as you teachers reclaim the halls.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't make any sense, but that scene was so funny to me because the guy came in there thinking like, oh, we're going to have a little powwow with our new principal.
Yes.
And we're going to chop it up and we're going to do this. No.
Yeah.
He was like, let me tell y'all some stats about yourselves. We are whatchamacallit this. We are this. Hardly half of the kids in there can read. They can barely read.
Yeah.
And he's yelling at them.
He was bad. Yes.
He was bad.
But that's how we would talk to people.
Yes. So, and it's so crazy. What he said? He said, and if you want something, I'm the HNIC. And he walks out. And the man was like, HNIC?
Head nigga in charge.
Look, there's only one boss in this place, and that's me. The HNIC. Are there any questions?
Look. So it people look at that scene and like, man, why is he so hard on them? Right? Part of the reason is Joe Clark was a condescending man. But the other part was they have to know that we're going to get to it, but part of the reason the school is like this is because of the teachers.
To get those test scores up, so the state will not take us over to perform the task which you have failed to do, to educate our children.
Like you said, like you would always say, like you always would say, and you said this in other movies, everybody had their hand in what happened.
Everybody had their hand. And and he's also bringing order. This is what I am about. Like, he had to establish dominance in order for them to know that he's serious.
Forget about the way it used to be. This is not a damn democracy. We are in a state of emergency, and my word is law.
He had to, right? But he's also telling them, this part of this is your fault.
And he also tells the parents that it's their fault too.
Now, if you want to help us, fine. Sit down with your kids and make them study at night. Don't get your families off welfare.
Dare you talk to these people
Give
about
our children some pride. Let them get their priorities straight.
Yes. Okay. All right. So you're talking about the scene after.
The scene after.
So he takes all the students who ain't doing nothing.
Not a thing.
They've been there for 4 to 5 years, some maybe more. Expels them.
And since none of them could graduate anyway, you are all expurgated. You are dismissed.
Right.
And this is what I love about that scene before we go to the parents. He's looking at all the issues. And like you mentioned, Ken, everybody handled it. You have the teachers. Now there are students who are responsible for not doing their job too.
Correct.
And so he does something which is drastic and true. And I looked this up. He did expel over 300 students in one day. Right? So he told, I don't think it was one day. No, yeah, it can happen because there are some schools who can have over 800, 900 students. Um, he expelled all the students who were doing nothing. And guess what? He did nothing wrong. They're gone. They're not allowed any there. And what was left were the remnant of students who finally felt free. And what I love about that scene is that they cheered because they
Mhm.
were a problem.
You're right.
And now they're gone. And one dude was like, I'm going in the Air Force, man. I'm going in the Air. Nah, man. He
You
ain't going in
can't
the Air.
have the ASVAB. Like I don't know if it's the ASVAB or whatever it is for the Air Force. You won't be able to pass that test anyway.
No.
It didn't matter. It didn't matter. It did not matter.
But those
Now,
students,
got
gone.
him up out of there. Gone.
All right. And Ken, to your point, now he has to deal with the parents. So you look at three things, right? Teachers, students, parents.
Parents.
Or Ken, like we mentioned earlier, the community.
Yep. The community.
Okay.
Community.
All right. So you have who Miss Barrett,
Miss
who
Barrett.
was the one who was against Joe Clark.
Ooh, I did not like that lady. You understand? I did not
No
like
one
her.
liked her, right?
Oh my
And so, but guess
gosh.
what? And I mentioned this to you earlier, Ken. Miss Barrett wasn't the only one. There are people who disagreed with Joe,
Hmm.
right? But the point, but I like this because what Joe Clark is saying is part of the reason why the kids are they are is because of you. You
Hmm.
get some dignity. Study with your kids. Read with them. Get off welfare, right? That was an insult, but the point he's trying to make is you guys are better than this.
Hmm.
It's you are the community. You are the parents.
All their parents.
And I said this, and I'm gonna hear you from I'm gonna hear you, Kevin, after I say this.
Hmm.
Miss Barrett, and here's what and Latifah can tell you, my wife can tell you. Parents do not take responsibility for the student's actions sometimes.
Correct.
I believe Miss Barrett, and I mentioned this, maybe one of those students who were expelled was her student. Or she knew parents of those students.
Hmm.
And she didn't like that. You got to take responsibility for the fact that you didn't do your job. Now you're ready to get mad. Now you want Joe Clark out. Sometimes it's us, and we got to take responsibility.
Got to take responsibility for that. Especially the nonsense that they were doing. They were doing plenty of nonsense to the point to where it was just like, they got to go. They have to go.
Yes.
They had to go.
Yes.
And it's to the point to where, like, you know they had to go, but instead of you listening to Joe Clark, and like you said, everybody's not going to agree with everything that he does.
Of course.
But instead of listening and giving the man a chance, you got offended the minute he said welfare. Notice the minute he said welfare,
Yes.
people got offended.
Yes.
So it's like, if he's stating a real fact, if you're on welfare, what you said, there's nothing wrong with it. But if you're abusing it and not trying to get off of it, so your kids can see that you're working to a level to basically make them say they can work to a level too, and not put that generational curse on them at the same time as well.
Yes.
Because I've seen people, and no, like I said, no knock. I've seen people on welfare, and that junk has trickled down to a generation, to a generation, to a generation, to a generation, to a generation. I'm like, well, dang.
And if those who need it, right? But we've seen people abuse it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just carry it on.
Correct.
And Joe Clark was like, look, guys, part of the issue of this school in this neighborhood is you.
Mm-hmm. And then that you can tell she was going to be a problem the minute she just gave him that look. I said, oh.
Yeah, and you said it earlier, Ken, you spend all this energy going against him when you could have helped him. Think about it. Who you got? And I told my students this because my students did the protest weeks ago before they graduated, right? And I spoke to some students. I said, "What's your solution? Like when you protest and somebody gets taken out to do your commencement, who you got next?" So my question with Ms. Barrett would be like, who's better than Joe Clark that you can find right now?
Mm-hmm.
No one.
Because to be honest with you, to even piggyback off of that, or basically to go back, they didn't trust Miss Levias.
They didn't.
So if that was the case, you had Miss Levias, and you felt like she was a better choice, why didn't they give Miss Levias that opportunity? You see what I'm saying?
Because she didn't have she didn't have anybody. She just wanted him out. She just wanted him gone. because he didn't like that she had to listen to the principal when his kid got cut. She didn't like that. Some parents don't like that. I don't want anybody to tell him what to do.
Tell him what to do. So then we go from there, right?
Okay,
So
yeah.
now he's already talking about everything that he wants to do. He already told the teachers what he want to do. Now he's talking to the parents. He said, I got down on my knees.
That part was good. We are not in church. I heard the thunder roar.
My soul.
We are not in church, Mr. Clark.
I fell down on my knees and I cried, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?
Yes, I remember that scene. Yes,
So,
that was
and
good.
he goes through that whole situation. Now, Kid Ray.
Kid Ray. How you jump from this kid?
Because I'm going to the door situation.
Oh, because the part we had to lock the doors.
Had to lock the doors. Kid Ray. He let this guy in, the same one. I'm gonna be in the Air Force, man. I'm gonna be in the Air Force.
Selling
Comes
drugs.
back, puts a whipping on Kid Ray because Kid Ray ain't sell that stuff. And then Joe Clark had to punch this boy out the face with the megaphone, with the bullhorn, with the horn, whatever it is, knocks him out. Tony, aka Candyman, takes him to the next dimension and throws him. So now you're seeing that he's actually like, okay, I have to take a drastic measure to keep the riffraff out, to keep the drugs out. Yes. And what I got to do, I got to put the chains on the doors.
I want every door in this school chained and locked. All of them.
Yes, sir.
Which is a fire hazard, but to his credit, Joe Clark was saying, if the school gave me metal detectors, then this wouldn't have to happen.
Right. Because I mean, it takes a lot to basically to pat down each student walking through.
Yes, it is. And students open doors for other students.
So what you expect is going to happen? Like that scene made me so mad when, like in the beginning of the movie, it was going through and it was showing it. The boy was waiting at the same boy waiting at the door.
Yeah.
Pops the door open. The man comes in with a black suitcase.
He was a teacher. Yes.
Oh, that guy was a teacher?
Because
believe it was a teacher. The door.
Yeah. I believe it was a teacher.
Oh my God.
He was selling drugs.
That was crazy. So you know that all that happens. So now the task that they have placed upon Joe is we need to get the test scores up.
Yep.
That has been the task that's been placed towards Joe.
Yep.
And
1 year.
And
one school year to do it.
And 1 school year to do it. And it's like, oh my God,
shut the school down.
Yeah. Shut the school down. Like, it's crazy how they get this man 1 year to do something that is like impossible to do.
Yes.
Right? So he's like trying to find ways. He's trying to motivate. He's trying to discipline. And it gets to a point to where it's like, will he be able to pull this test score situation off? You know? And I'm thinking to myself, I don't think watching the movie, I'm thinking to myself, he's not going to be able to do that. Because that's a hard part to do.
Yes. It took more because so Joe Clark doesn't do a good job starting out.
Right.
Right. He fires Darnell for picking up a piece of paper. And I'll come back to it. Okay. But he's not motivating people. He's condescending at first.
He's more of cracking the whip instead of getting the help he needs from his teachers to support him.
Yes. Yes, he is. And he's realizing that. He has to realize that.
But it does take a minute because it's like, it was like he was more wanting to help the students than have his teachers help him. And I think that comes back to in the beginning
Yes.
because he felt
He
like the
did not
teachers that
trust his
betrayed
teachers.
him. He did not trust the teachers. So
Yeah.
that kind of fell back on his principles because he was like, I done been burned once. Damn it, I ain't gonna be burned again.
Yes. And
So
I think, okay, so there was one iconic scene
mhm.
where he meets the music teacher.
Oh yes, yes, yes. Hold on, hold
So
on, hold on, hold on. I got it.
this,
I got it.
so yeah, look it up, the teacher why I talk. But this teacher now, one thing Latifah let me know as a teacher is that you are basically the principal of your own classroom. The
Okay.
principal can't just come in and do whatever they want, right?
Mhm.
They need to ask permission, whatever, to come into the classroom. Joe Clark don't care. He comes in and bombards the classroom with the music. Now Joe Clark has a point, and it took me a while to understand this. The woman is singing Mozart. They're going to a concert every year. And so he gets into a debate with Frank Napier about the woman going to singing Mozart. What he's saying is this. What Joe Clark's trying to say is this. What the heck is Mozart gonna help do with these African American students?
I don't have time for Mrs. Elliott's problem.
You better make time.
We are being crucified by a process that is turning blacks into a permanent underclass here, Frank. A permanent underclass. No, see, nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody. Mrs. Elliott's missionary zeal about Mozart has nothing to do with our problem. Nothing. What good is Mozart going to do a bunch of children who can't go out and get a job? Joe?
What he's saying to the music teacher is, you're not giving them anything that will actually bring them pride.
Correct.
You're not. You're not doing that. You're going to some concert and it to do what? That's what he was trying to say. That these black students they don't even have pride in their school and pride in themselves, but we got time to sing Mozart. That's what he was trying to say. The
And
problem was you can't just roll in somebody's classroom and say whatever you want to say about and do whatever. You can't do that. And then fired her and said, "You're fired. Get out right now." It was funny, right? But he's trying to make a point, right?
it
And
was
so
too much of a point. I just feel like he could have.
there was a way to do it.
Yeah, there was a way of doing it. I think he was more upset at the fact that, hey, this ain't working.
Mhm.
And you're doing something that should have been like you said, Mozart's not going to help these black and brown kids
Didn't know the school song.
when they get out of school. They didn't know the school song, like you said, and I
But they
came
know
back
Mozart
to
though.
that, and I came back to being with pride. I came back with
Yes.
pride.
You know
And
Mozart, but you know the school song.
it was Miss Elliott.
Miss Elliott.
Miss Elliott.
Yes.
And it was real name was Robin or Bartlett.
Mm-hmm.
Miss
Elliott.
Elliott. Mm-hmm. And he fired her up, boy. You will be hearing from my lawyer.
Yeah. But anyway, so like you were saying, Kim, the test results, part of that is how he talks to the teacher, like Miss Elliott, as for example, he's not motivating, right? And he doesn't trust his teachers to do the job. Rather, he's very condescending.
Mm-hmm. Very condescending.
Very condescending.
So I feel like with this part,
Mm-hmm.
after you had like the second meeting with the teachers, all the teachers in the gym,
Mm-hmm.
then they were focused because the first time they took the test, it was
Yes.
like just trash. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They took it, it was bad. Then all of a sudden, you got the teachers in there and they were motivated to basically say, hey, we're going to help with the Saturdays and Sundays to come in, get these kids situated and get them to learn. And all of a sudden, they start learning. They start learning.
Yes.
They start learning. They start learning.
Yeah.
They start learning. They start learning. And it's great because now the pushback is coming, which is from Miss I call her the villain.
Miss Barrett, wanting
Barrett.
to get the chains, wanting to get him in trouble because of the
Correct.
chains on the door.
With the chains on the door. Now, so I know we're gonna talk about iconic scenes and stuff like that. And I think we should just basically finish off this part right here, basically saying that we see that he's able to he does get locked up because they finally caught him. They finally caught him with the chains on the doors. And it's like, oh my gosh, you know what I'm saying? he's trying to keep the kids safe, but they don't see that. They just see him being defiant towards them, making them look crazy in public eye and stuff like that. So, like I said, they were not feeling him at all. But why give him the job? You know what I'm saying? But like Napier said, he's the only person that can be able to take it, take the job, right? So finally, we see that they take him to jail. As they're taking him to jail, you know, iconic scenes and stuff like that. We're gonna talk about that. And then they take him to jail. The kids march, protest.
Yeah, they do.
They protest. They come up to free Mr. Clark, free Mr. Clark. You know what I'm saying? And then finally, the mayor's like, "Hey man, we got to get him under control. We got to get him under control." He said, "Well, shit, that ain't my problem." You know what I'm saying? And to be honest with you, it wasn't his problem because they were doing a protest.
Yeah.
But just imagine what would have happened if he did not come outside.
Yeah, it would have got out of hand. And that's what the mayor told him. Like, you're a realist. You know that if you don't get these students and, you know, if you don't help them, a riot will break out and this will be bad for you. And that's when he went out and spoke and, you know, they brought him out.
Right. And then finally ended up getting the test scores. And then all of a sudden they got test scores and they actually blew the test out of the water.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But it's so crazy with these movies, it always happens at the 11th hour.
It's the director. That's how he does it.
It's the director. It's an 80s situation to where they see that they perfect ending and they were able to beat the system and they got the scores that they needed to basically move on forward. And all of a sudden, you see all the people he was dealing with, all the kids he was dealing with, they're graduating. You know, and that was a really motivating thing.
It was a hopeful movie.
It was a hopeful movie, and I believe I want to say graduation rates went up because of that movie. I'm gonna have to go back and look at it.
I have to look at it because I think it was a motivator. A lot of these, John Alvinson always has these motivated push movies, kind of like.
That's been happening. So let's go ahead and talk about these iconic scenes. I already got one, but if you want to go ahead, let me know. You go ahead first. What is your iconic?
Of course, the favorite one is Sims, right? the scene in the back, right? What I love about this is it is the toughest love that you will ever see. All right, Ken, I love the scene. One reason is Sims knows he made a mistake.
Sam's.
Sam's knows he messed up.
All right.
Why should I believe you now?
Because I changed my ways.
All right.
He was hanging out with those boys at Juice. I'm just kidding. Again, he was So he realizes that he messed up. He made a mistake. And Joe Clark wants to really find out if he's serious. This is so 80s. You cannot do this to a student today. Take him to the top of the roof. Tell them to jump. You smoke crack, don't you? You smoke crack. You kills your brain cells, son. It kills your brain cells.
Look at me, boy. Don't you smoke crack?
Yes, sir.
You know what that does to you? Huh?
No, sir.
It kills your brain cells, son. It kills your brain cells. Now, when you destroy...
I mean, that was when I went to James Simmons, every student was saying that. It kills your brain cells, son. It kills your brain cells. It was it was sort of the meme during the time. It was so funny. But what I love about it was he straight got into his face and said, you smoke crack, you don't care, don't F with it, jump off the roof. I mean, dang, you cannot do that today. But I love it because Morgan Freeman, Joe Clark is being a principal, a teacher, and a father, telling him, you don't want, what you been doing all this time? And what did he say? I'm going to go back on my word one time. And he rose.
He rose up. That's the thing. He rose up. So one of another iconic scenes that I have is basically they didn't know when it was in the cafeteria.
Yes.
And he was like, do y'all see this sloppy boy?
Yes. Oh my God.
I want all of you to look at this slovenly, sloppy boy here as an example of how not to dress.
he put his hand over his face, the hand over his face. Everybody pointing and laughing at him. Then he was like, "Who is these? Who's these dudes right here? These are my cousins."
Yes.
He said, "I want y'all to sing the song." So he's like, "Fair," and said, "If anybody moves, y'all gonna get in trouble." Mr. Darnell picks up the paper.
Piece of paper.
He picks the paper up, and he said, "Darnell, I thought I told you no one to move." He starts picking up a piece of paper. He was like, "See me after."
Mr. Darnell, no one is permitted to move during the singing of the song.
I was picking up.
Report to my office. Immediately. Quiet! Quiet in here!
See me at the class. Let me say, see me in my office. Everybody.
Yes.
Ooh. And y'all come with me, y'all gonna learn the school something. They go back in the room. He was like, "I told you I was picking up a piece of paper." And he was like, son. She said, "I told you not to move," blah, 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 like that, right? Then he said, "You gonna," he
said, he said on the paper, "God, you're gonna give me the picture, or I'll kick your blood." I was picking up a piece of paper. "No, sir, that's what you are." Something he said.
Yes.
And he took the desk.
That's over. He said, "What happened with Darnell? Darnell's been suspended indefinitely." And I'm thinking to myself, "Oh my gosh, like, why are you even doing this to one of your best teachers?"
He was wrong. He was wrong.
Oh my gosh. Which one you got, man?
Of course, the other scene is the singing in the bathroom. When they redid the school song.
Yes.
By thy side will stand and oh. I mean, that song is just iconic, man.
East side, by thy side will stand and always praise thy name. Praise thy name, praise thy name.
And it was good.
It was good. And then you want to know the funny thing about it, Joe? I don't know if you know this, but the boys that actually sung the song, they were actually a singing group.
I didn't know that.
Yes, let me see if I can find them. They were a singing group.
Called the Songbirds? The Songbirds?
Yeah, singing group. And
and it just they
were called what was it?
And that scene was amazing. I love it.
Yeah, they were actually they were a singing group. I forgot the name of it, but they were but yeah, all of they were the official singing group. Like all of them were singing groups, and it was so crazy because that song, like you said, was like the epitome of all songs. Everybody knew the song. Ooh, Lord. Everybody knew the ad libs and everything.
Yep. And so, Miss Powles taught him the song. And take a bow, Miss Powles. You rewritten our alma mater, and he loved it.
I want everyone in this school to learn that song in English and Spanish immediately. Take a bow, Mrs. Powers. You've rewritten our alma mater.
Yeah, but then it transitioned so bad because it was like everybody was like, "The honor of all ye side, go how loyal, loyalty."
Yeah, that was a song.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? They get to the part. She comes in with the test scores, and then the test scores is not what he wanted.
He was so upset. He was so upset. It just ruined his day.
It just ruined his whole day. If I actually put a test, you're gonna give me this.
Yes, it ruined it.
All right. My iconic scene as well is when she wanted to resign.
Yes, and that scene. Yes.
That was the scene. She stood up to him and she was like, "You're going to listen.
Yes.
We are not to be stepped on. We are your help.
Yes.
And for you to keep stepping on us, treating us like children, it does not help us." And for her to stand up to him and basically tell him that, she was like, You know,
Sounds
I'm
good.
not taking this no more. You gonna talk. You gonna
Yes.
listen.
And
What the hell do you want?
I want you to get this straight. Most of the teachers here are here because they care about those children out there, this school, this fight. They are in it with you. They take it home at night, the same as you. They are part of those children's lives. You are thoughtless and cruel, and it hurts. And none of them deserve it. They are sick of it, and so am I.
and no one else got on him like that. You will stand and you will listen. You've been flapping your mouth all these years, and what he tells your clock is, we take it home just like you.
Like you, just like you.
You love those kids. Shoot, we love them too.
We love them too.
We work hard.
Mhm.
We love those kids just like you. You take it home, we take it home. It's
We
hard
take
on
it
you,
home.
it's hard on us. You're not going to treat us like this anymore.
Correct.
And
That
she
was a
was
good.
right.
That was a good part. That was a good part. Even though he still wrote her the letter.
He apologized though on stage.
Mhm.
He said he's very grateful for what she has done.
Mhm.
He realized that it's a team. Joe Clark, this is not 1970.
Correct.
The people are those not the same people. You can trust us. We love you, man. We got you.
Got you.
We take this,
We got you.
and I'm glad. Yeah, I like that scene too, Ken.
Yeah,
Because
man,
he
that was a
had to
really
hear
good
that.
scene.
It was the first time he was really quiet, wasn't it?
Very quiet. He didn't say nothing after that. And then another iconic scene for me was, and we talked about this today too, when Charmaine came and said, "My mama don't want me no more."
Yes.
And that made me think, because I was like, why wouldn't her mama want her anymore? She's a straight A student. She does what she's supposed to do. She comes home. Like in an environment like that, I'm trying to figure out why the mother wouldn't want her. And it's because the mom looked like she lost hope herself.
Yeah. The community lost hope.
The community lost hope.
And Ken, we mentioned that earlier, right? If you live in a neighborhood in an area where there's poverty, depression, hope, drugs, crime, you're gonna think like that. And remember when Joe Clark and Miss Levi's went to go see her, he reminded her, like, you were my star parent. You did this, you did that. What changed? The environment. So Joe Clark, and the movie says that it's more than just changing the school. The parents, the community, all have to change in order for the school and these students to grow. The parents have to be part of this too.
Right.
And that's why I love that scene where everybody's doing good and they're studying hard, and they show the scene where she's studying with Charmaine. Remember that scene? She's studying with her, saying the parents are doing their part. We got to do our part, man. We can't just say that's the school's doing that. The school's doing bad over there. Nah, you doing bad too.
And like I say,
That's a
I
good
remember
scene, yes.
a lot of people always say it takes a village.
It takes a village.
It takes a village.
So you can't just throw money at it. Like, she needed motivation. And Joe Clark did say this: if we got you a better job, maybe a nicer place, will this help? It's not the answer, but will it help you? Yes. Okay. And then and he says something after this, Ken, that is iconic. He says, because I don't see Kanisha. Why I say Charmaine?
Yeah.
Who's Charmaine?
I thought it was Charmaine.
Charmaine is from the Cosby. She played in the cut.
Oh, yeah.
That was her character in the Cosby's. Her name was Kanisha.
Oh, God. Was it Kanisha? Let me see. I gotta get the cat.
Kanisha was her name in Lean on Me. Charmaine was her name in the Cosby's.
Yes, Kanisha Carter. You are so right. Oh my God,
So,
I'm over saying the wrong names, dog.
It's fine, because these people play these parts and you only know them as one thing, right? So Kanisha, she said, Joe Clark looked at her and said, because I don't really see Kanisha making it without you.
Correct.
If we helped you find a job, a better place to live, would that help? Because frankly, I don't see Kanisha making it without you. Do you understand?
You're a
Correct.
part of this. And it motivated her. She can't do it without you.
Can't do without you. Yeah. And
Yeah.
she was
Joe
able
Clark was
to.
like, we all got to work in this together.
And that was the crazy thing. So it was like it was able to work.
Yeah.
So man, this movie here, it makes you think, like, you know, and then to go back to the ending part, right?
Okay.
It's like then the mayor is like, hey, I helped the school get this. No, you didn't help the school do jack crap.
You didn't.
You don't come out there with your hand up now. You know what I'm saying? You try to block me at
You work
every
with Miss
turn.
Barrett to try to get him out in favors so he can get the vote.
Yes.
Yeah. He wasn't really for Joe Clark.
No, not at all. But
He was for himself.
Joe Clark's methods, his extreme discipline, and I think if he would have caught on earlier, I think he probably would have passed that first test.
I think so.
But I think it was a test on himself as well because he had to learn to forgive and basically be able to transition from the old days to the new.
Yes.
That's what I believe. If he would have did his transition and basically trusting and believing, then yeah, I think they would have been able to basically at least maybe improve on the score. Because look at this, the first time they took it, it was that lower than than they when they did before. So I'm like, oh my gosh, so yeah. But yeah, this movie right here, man, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This was a great movie. Like, did you have anything else like when it came down to your favorite?
I mean, like, so one thing we can talk about is like his his discipline versus his compassion, right? His discipline was very hard. And look, we look at him like, yo, Joe Clark, he had to be hard, right? He did to a certain extent. You're dealing with a situation that doesn't that requires some compassion but more discipline. And the reason is you're dealing with not just a school, but a atmosphere or an ecosystem, right? You're dealing with a school, a neighborhood, and the roles that people play. You got gangs, you got drugs, you got different communities, you have the political system. And you're in an ecosystem, a major part of the ecosystem, right? Which is the school. It requires a hard discipline. And hard discipline can mean love too.
Right.
Right? I mean, and think about it. Joe Clark showed compassion on Kanisha. Joe Clark showed compassion on Sam's. Joe Clark showed compassion on a lot of the students. A lot. Not as much on the teachers, but a lot. And there were times when Joe Clark was humbled. And think about it. When he fired, what's his name? And he came back and said, you never should have fired me. Mr. Darnell, you never should have fired me. And he said, well, maybe you're right. But don't get smart, right? He admitted, yeah, you were right. Miss Levi, you were right. So he was not above humility.
Right.
He was tough because I think it needed it. Think about it. If you live in an ecosystem that's a desert, you're going to have to be tough.
Yep. And I like that. That's what I'm saying. I like that. So do you think his discipline, well, I mean, let me rephrase that. Do you believe that he was helping or was he more intimidating them?
I think when his discipline is aimed in the right direction, it helps. His discipline was aimed at the wrong people. So you're yelling and condescending at teachers, but they're your help, not your enemy. So don't step, like Levi said, Miss Levi, don't step in our necks.
Correct.
When you could just be complimenting. You don't say good job. You don't say thank you. You just put them down. And in front of everybody.
And
right? Your discipline and your frustration is aimed at the wrong people. Don't do that to people you love. And when you do that, Ken, you get a 33% percentage on your exam. Right? Because your aim is wrong at the wrong people.
Right. That is
frustrated true. Frustrated at the wrong people. And he had to realize that. And like, Jack Napier, not Jack Napier. Frank Napier was like, you must say Jack. Frank Napier was like, and he told him one thing. He told him when they argued. He said, "Dang it! If you respect my discipline and my authority, begin by following mine."
If you think you can get used to it, it's the way of the world. If you're so hot on discipline, then goddamn it, start by accepting mine. Because contrary to popular opinion, I'm the head nigger in charge.
Because the popular demand, I'm the HNIC. And guess what, Joe Clark? He was right. Follow me. I'm your boss. Don't go in and do whatever you want. You can't.
So hot on discipline. God damn it. Listen to mine. By contrary to demand, I'm the HNC.
And guess what? Frank Napier was just as tough as Joe Clark. And then guess what happened afterwards? Come on, let's go get something to eat. Because they were still friends, right? It's like they don't feel bad, man. Come on.
He said, brother, I will go through the fire with you.
And he does. Yes.
He said, bro, about the test scores. What you think I'm gonna do, Frank? No, he said, and you gonna hire back Miss Elliott. You
Mr. Darnell.
Hard time?
And he was right. He was right.
Oh God.
His frustration at times were aimed at the wrong thing.
At the wrong.
And Frank Napier was like, nah, you're not gonna run it like that. You're not.
Yeah. I like that, man. Oh man, so like this movie here, this movie has been really good. I like this movie. I'm glad we did this one. I am so glad we did this one tonight. All right, so just a clean for the outro.
Yeah, man.
What you got for the outro, man?
I mean, I think it still holds up today, Ken.
It still holds up today.
What movie do you really see like Lean on Me today? And I'm asking, like, and even to the fans out there, like, give me a Lean On movie, not Dangerous Minds. Not okay. Let me say this: not Dangerous Minds, not the movie with the woman who played Electra, and she was a teacher. Forgot that.
I think you're talking about.
Okay, I say this, and to my fans, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but all of those had a person leading who was not the same culture. Does that make sense?
I know what you're talking about. Like you said, Dangerous Minds with Michelle Pfeiffer.
She wasn't Joe Clark. The movie Freedom Riders or something like that.
Yeah.
Had a teacher who was not Joe Clark. Was not and then you had other movies. The Substitute. Who was that? You have all these movies, and guess what? You don't have a lot of movies like Lean On Me that are African American led teachers and principals that are building up the school anymore. You don't have movies like that.
Don't have like that.
You have the opposite.
If you do, it's just kind of like crazy looking now.
It does.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy now. To me, I feel like it's gonna be crazy.
And it's flipped. You have the Latinos and helping the only other movie I've seen like that is Stand and Deliver.
Yep.
Boom, 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 boom. Stand and Deliver, right? Otherwise, and that's still an 80s movie. I thought that came before Lean On Me. So you don't see that today, Ken. It stands today because what it's saying is that there's an African-American man who's trying to build African-American students educationally. And not just educationally, but dealing with the parents, with the teachers, in a place where everybody else forgot and doesn't care. A Black African-American man stands up. You don't see that. I need to look to see if there's any movies like that today because I don't see them.
I don't see them like that either. I really don't. And that's, oh man. So since we talked about Lean On Me, which was a great topic today, and like I said, I hope y'all really enjoy it. Please comment, subscribe, like, do all the above. So for the outro, man, was Joe Clark a hero or too extreme? Would his methods work today? Like, let us know in the comments. Like,
Yes,
let
let
us know
us
in the
know.
comments, man.
Talk with it. Let us know for those who've seen it.
Man, because this has been a movie that's been out for a long, long time. And like I said, a lot of people seen this movie. If you ain't seen Lean On Me, there's something wrong. Something wrong.
Yeah, we're taking away your black card.
Yes, please. There's something wrong. Something wrong, because that's crazy if you have not seen Lean On Me. But thank you so much for being a part of Real Ones Only. Just getting us out there. Once again, we did Lean On Me. This will be up like within the next week or so. We still got more content. We still already did. We just ain't put it out yet. But I promise you, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. So once again, my name is Kenyatta Mitchell.
Ken, who's the host, and I'm Joel Brown, the co-host. And I just want to let you guys know, when you're not strong, you can call on me and I'll be your friend. You can just lean on me. I'll be your friend.
What you say?
You need a friend. Lean on me. See y'all out there, man.